You will hear about the African Union. Yes, it exists. But what is the effect of the African Union in reality? We cannot talk about integration in the theme and not talk about the African Union. Because it is this organization that should unite us, create real integration. But we regret to see these wars that persist on the African continent, killing millions of young people. And that this organization, which has heads of state, with armies, is unable to organize itself to support certain countries. The Union is not just a word. The Union is a symbol.
In a move that has sent shockwaves across West Africa, ECOWAS has once again boldly summoned Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger to its upcoming summit, a clear signal that it refuses to acknowledge the new alliance formed by these nations. Simultaneously, an African Union delegation has descended on Burkina Faso for direct talks with Capt.Ibrahim Traore. These abrupt maneuvers raise a pressing question: what's driving this sudden urgency? On June 17th, Traore received Antonio Tete, the special envoy of the AU chairperson, at the Kuluba Palace in Ouagadougou. This visit, cloaked in diplomatic pleasantries, marks a stunning reversal from the AU's long-standing condemnation of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger for their courageous exit from ECOWAS and their formation of the Alliance of Sahel States, AES. Meanwhile, Nigeria's unexpected invitation to the AES nations to attend the West Africa Economic Summit at the Abuja International Conference Center reveals a desperate attempt to claw back influence over a region that has decisively rejected Western manipulation. These events are not mere diplomatic overtures. They expose the crumbling facade of Western-controlled regional bodies and the unstoppable rise of a new African order led by uncompromising leaders like Traore. The AES, in less than 2 years, has achieved what the AU and ECOWAS have failed to do in decades: fostering genuine African solidarity, economic independence, and a vision for a united continent free from imperialist shackles.
All right, welcome back again. One day I was here in this seat and I told you that the West will not get tired until they get what they want, because their life, their riches, their well-being, their good faring is as a result of them associating themselves with Africa. So as long as they live, they must continue getting from Africa, because Africa is making them exist, okay? And we as black people, we decided we are also not going to stop resisting until we get our independence and we get our freedom. That is what we are going to do. We will continue fight. We will continue fighting and fighting and fighting. Yeah. So ECOWAS has started pursuing the AES alliance. I'm talking about Burkina Faso, I'm talking about Mali and Niger. Yeah, they have started pursuing them. They want to start talking about them. They've gone even there. Yeah, they're asking them why did they had to exit from ECOWAS. Because when Traore took power, when Abdurrahman took power and Assimi Goïta from these 3 respective countries, they had to exit from ECOWAS. And they formed an alliance, which is AES. And they had their reasons as to why they exit from ECOWAS. Okay? Though it wasn't... ECOWAS did not agree, because ECOWAS never wanted them to leave. They wanted them to continue being there, but they had to leave because their reasoning and their way of doing things and how they saw things should be done was not the same way that the countries which were in ECOWAS saw things. So they had they had differences here, and so these 3 countries had to separate themselves. As we are talking about that, AU has sent their delegates to Burkina Faso. And the reason as to why they sent their delegates to Burkina Faso, it's because Capt.Ibrahim Traore, together with the 2 captains in the AES Alliance region, these people, they've not been contributing a lot to the AU Commission, okay? And they've also not been supporting what AU has been doing and all that. You've seen Capt.Ibrahim Traore many times talking about the AU. He has been saying that the AU is not working things out the way it's supposed to work things out. The AU is not competent. The AU should be doing this and they're not doing it, okay? So the AU has sent their delegates to Burkina Faso. And I think the reason as to why the AU has sent their delegates to Burkina Faso, it is because they are wondering why is it that these three countries are not participating too much on what is happening on our what we are doing, our agreements, our ideas, our decisions, and all that. Okay, so that is what is happening right now. That is something that just happened a day ago, and I wanted to bring it to you so that we can be able to look into some of the reasons as to why ECOWAS has now it wants to get hold of the AES, and immediately AU again wants to get hold of the AES. These are three countries: Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. And the question remains, is it a coincidence? ECOWAS is coming today, AU is coming tomorrow. Is it a coincidence? Is it something they planned? Yeah? Is it something that is being planned by someone that we don't know or something like that? Or it was just by chance? Let us look into some of the reasons as to why this could be happening. Now, welcome back again. Back there, we have had many cases where the West has really tried to take down Capt.Ibrahim Traore. The West has been struggling and doing all kind of things to make sure this guy is stepping down, or this guy has been taken down, so that they can resume with their normal activities of exploiting, their normal activities of stealing, their normal activities of shifting our resources from Africa to the West, because that is what they are living in. That's their daily bread. Without our minerals, without our resources, without our assets, they might not be they might not survive. Okay, so because Ibrahim Traore came, and because the Sahel came together, the three leaders, and they decided we are going to get hold of our resources, we are going to get hold of everything that we have, they decided that that what belongs to our African countries will remain to African countries. So it became difficult for them to actually access our minerals as usual, as they've been doing. And therefore, it really annoyed them. It really frustrated them. That is why it is just after that we saw that the AFRICOM began being familiar and famous. Yeah. Back then, we didn't know more about AFRICOM until the coming of Capt.Ibrahim Traore and the entire Sahel region. That is when we began seeing the existence of AFRICOM. And when they came with AFRICOM, I think AFRICOM was one of the way of that they are going to use to get to Burkina Faso, to get to Niger, to get to Mali, and to get to other countries of Africa that have decided we are going to be independent, and we are going to make the decisions that we want ourselves. Okay. So, it has been very difficult for them to access Africa, because the Sahel region, the entire Sahel region, they had to exit from ECOWAS, because ECOWAS is already manipulated. ECOWAS is not an African organization. ECOWAS was formed in the year 1975, and when ECOWAS was formed, it was formed for the purposes of focusing on African issues, especially in the West Africa. But ECOWAS has not been doing that. ECOWAS is an organization that was manipulated. It was formed, I don't know if it was formed by the West or by Europe. I don't know if Europe was behind the formation of ECOWAS as an African organization. But what I know is that we came to realize later on that ECOWAS is no more serving West Africa. ECOWAS is serving the West. Okay? And so they are coming through ECOWAS and trying to put their decisions on people, to implement their to execute their whatever they want to do to the people of Africa through ECOWAS. Okay, they were hiding on the shadow of ECOWAS, and that is how they go to West Africa. That is how they've been manipulating West African people, West African governments, and all that. And Ibrahim Traore, as an intelligent and vigilant kind of a person, he noticed that. Okay. And he called the three leaders. He sat them down. He told them, you know what we need to do is to exit this ECOWAS, because if we don't exit this ECOWAS, we're going to find it so difficult for us to be able to manage ourselves, or for us to be able to develop our countries and to do everything we want to do. Because as long as we are in ECOWAS, we will not make any decision, and that decision be real, or that decision, like the decision we will make, that decision help us. Okay, we will make every decision, but at the end of the day, the decision we will have made, the ECOWAS as an organization will not side with that decision. They will oppose that decision. They will stop us from doing whatever the things we want to do, because ECOWAS is not being led by Africa, and it's not being led by African leaders. Yeah, it is led by Western leaders, Europe leaders, who are they are using the African leaders. And so when we look at the forefront, we can see the African leaders, but they are just but clones. Okay, so the best thing we can do is to exit ECOWAS if we want to be safe with everything and every implementation we want to do. If we are after saving our people, and after protecting our people, after building our countries, after changing the lives of our people, after making our people live better, then we do not have a choice but to exit ECOWAS. And now Capt.Ibrahim Traore, together with Abdurrahman Chiani, together with Assimi Goita, from the three countries, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, they had to exit ECOWAS. They formed an alliance that is called AES, and then they started doing their things, making their decisions, thinking of what they want their country to look like. They even came up with their flag. They became independent. And that is what all Africa needs, the independency. Okay? So this is just but an example of the independence that we want. They formed their alliance, they made their flag, they began doing things themselves, like three countries working together. They even came with an idea of breaking the boundaries so they can be a one state. And the West really was against that. The West really struggled to stop that from happening, because they know the unity of a black person is like an atomic bomb. Louis Farrakhan confirmed that. Take a look.
Our unity is more powerful than an atomic or hydrogen bomb. That's the one thing we have never tried. We've kneeled in, crawled in, prayed in, lied in, slept in, but still we are out.
The unity of a black person is like an atomic bomb, and we all agree to that. So that is the reason as to why, the main reason as to why the West and Europe will not allow black people and Africans to unite. Okay, so they wanted to be united to an extent. They can take away the boundaries and become one state, and that one was really difficult, because the West and Europe really tried to stop that from happening, especially France under Emmanuel Macron. Okay, so after doing that, because all Africa has been infiltrated, and because all Africa has been tampered with, AU also is an organization that was made back then in the years. And when AU was made, it was made to focus with the issues of black people, the issues of Africans, and the issues of everything that is that maybe concerns black people in one way or the other. But what do you think about the AU? Is the AU really doing what it's supposed to do? Is the AU really performing the work that it's supposed to be performing here in Africa? Is it doing really that? If it's doing that, tell me. If it's not doing that, tell me. But the truth is that, according to me and according to my opinion, AU has failed big time. AU is supposed to be working out things that we are seeing happening right now. The problems that are facing Africa right now should be solved by the African Union. African Union is an African organization. The war that are going on in Congo right now should be solved by the African Union. African Union should come out with a solution or a decision on how they are going to solve the problem that is in Congo right now. Yeah, we've seen people fighting. Yeah, even in Rwanda. Yeah, we are seeing things that are happening in Africa right now are not good things to some point. Look at Kenya, right? Like, for example, Kenya is somehow in a bad place. Though people may not talk about it, people may not say it, but see, the government has failed people, and when people try to complain to the government, they end up being killed by the same government they chose, the same government they voted for. Okay, and when they're being killed, it is being seen everywhere. Nowadays, when you do something, the social media will make whatever the thing you've done go viral everywhere. So you cannot tell me that the countries out here, which are AU organization, or rather the leaders of the AU, are not seeing what is happening. But have they done anything? They're not doing anything. Rather, they are quiet, because these are not people who are ready to help. Their intention is not to help. Their intention is not to work for the black people. Their intention is not to solve the problems that the black people are facing. Okay. One day, one person was saying that he only sees the activities of the AU only at time that there is voting and there is election. After that, he doesn't know what AU does. He has never been seen AU doing anything. Like me, for example, I never knew the AU chairman before, like the previous AU chairman, the former AU chairman. I never saw him. I never knew who he was. I used to hear just a name, but I never saw him. I never knew who he was until the time of election, when he was handing over power to this leader who was chosen recently from Djibouti. Yeah. That is when I knew the AU chairman, yeah, the AU president, because we only see them during the time of election. After that, we don't see them again. Me, I don't know what AU does. I don't know I know the responsibilities of the AU, but I don't know what the AU does. I don't know the work that it's doing right now. I've never seen them talking about anything, the matters of Africa. I've never seen it. I've never seen them anywhere. Like, I've never seen them. Yeah. AU has failed Africa big time. That is the truth of the matter. AU has really failed Africa. And now, when Ibrahim Traore came to power again, they distanced themselves from the AU. They had to distance themselves from AU. They are there as an African countries because all African countries are in AU, but they had to distance themselves, because the moment a country is taken by coup, I think it does not even attend the meetings of the AU and all that. And that was a credit to Burkina Faso and Capt.Ibrahim Traore and Abdurrahmane Tiani and Assimi Goïta, because they never wanted to be part of the AU. Yeah, because AU itself is a failure, and AES, together, AES, the countries which are in AES, these three presidents, they've already done so much in this country that compared even to the countries which are in AU and the countries which are in ECOWAS. Okay? So, by them distancing themselves, I think it is difficult. The AU feels like they need the contribution of these countries, because I think there is money that every country contributes every year. I don't know. But AU, again, just like ECOWAS, has also been infiltrated. This organization also, it has been overtaken by the West, and therefore this organization is not working for the people of Africa, is not working for Africans. This organization is working for the West. Yeah. The Western, the Europe and the leaders of from the West are the ones making decisions for the African organization. They are the ones who are saying what they want. They are the ones who are giving directions. They are the ones who are ruling. They are the ones who are giving ideas and plans on how to do things. That is why problems would be happening in Africa. But when problems are happening in Africa, no country or nobody will come in and say, now we've seen this problem happening here and here, and we as an African organization, we have decided this is what we're going to do. Or we as an African organization, we have decided we are going to help here and we're going to help here. They don't even talk about it. They don't even come out and speak anything, because they are being told what to say, they are being told what to do. And because the West does not want Africa to be in good position, because the West does not want Africa to prosper and Africa to do well, anytime Africa has a problem, AU is supposed to be responsible for the problems that are happening in Africa and provide solutions, but they are not providing solutions because the West has taken over AU, and because the West does not want Africa to prosper and Africa to live better, they don't give they give directions to the AU, and they tell them, do not step there, do not do anything, do not try saying anything. So the AU finds no otherwise than to keep quiet, and that is how Africa has kept on being at a position that it is since then up to date. And these are the things that Capt.Ibrahim Traore, Abdurrahmane Chiani, and Assimi Goita said, this is not what we want for Africa, this is not what we want for our countries, so we are going to distance ourselves from AU, we are going to distance ourselves from ECOWAS, and we are going to work things out our own way. And that is how they have been working things out. Now, this is why AU has suddenly gone to Burkina Faso, and this is why just a few minutes or hours later, ECOWAS also has gone to Burkina Faso. This is the reason. Now, when Capt.Ibrahim Traore took power in Burkina Faso, and Abdurrahmane Chiani and Assimi Goita, things began changing. Number one, they took power completely, and they said now the foreign countries should exit our countries, and foreign countries had to exit their countries. France was in those three countries. They went away. Those other countries which tried to went there and do whatever the things they were doing, they were also expelled. They were told, from now henceforth, you cease from existing in these countries, because we want to work things out our own way. We want to do things our own way, and therefore we don't need anybody to come here and tell us what to do. Okay? That is the first achievement they did, because they know even if we want to work things out, with us having with the existence of these people in our countries, we might not be able to do things well. We can't do things in the right way. We can't do things better, because they will always try to stop us from doing it. So the first thing we're going to do is to expel these people out of these countries. Let them go out, let them get out. We're going to do things out our own way. So France went away, other foreign countries which were there, they went away, and these countries now they got the real freedom. As I'm talking to you right now, Burkina Faso is a country that is independent, and it has its freedom. Mali the same, Niger the same. People will not tell you that. The mainstream media will not report that. But me, I'm telling you, because I know. I've had an opportunity of speaking to some people from Burkina Faso. Even there's a lady who normally talks to me from Burkina Faso. I'll bring her on here on studio someday. But they are telling the truth, because they know what is happening in Burkina Faso. People who are lying about Burkina Faso are the people who does not know what is happening in Burkina Faso, and the people who have been sent, and they want to paint a bad picture out here. Okay, but the truth is that these three countries are very independent, and that is why the West is very angry and the West is very frustrated. If these three countries would not be independent, the West would not be struggling to assassinate Capt.Ibrahim Traore and these other leaders from the AES. But why are they struggling? They are struggling because they know these three countries, they are very independent. They are working things out the way they are supposed to work things out, and nobody is telling them what to do. If you want to know these three countries and they are independent, look at what they've been able to do in a span of 3 years. Ibrahim Traore took power 2022. We are on 2025. Look at what has happened in Burkina Faso. Look at what has happened in Mali. Look at what has happened in Niger. Yeah, things have happened in Niger. The country is developing at a very high rate. The country is advancing at a very high rate. The economy is being raised at a very high rate. Something that many countries in Africa for the last 60 years, they've not been able to do. But he has only been able to do it in a span of 3 years. In a span of 3 years, he has been able to do that. Now, that one is a threat to the West. Why is it a threat to the West? It's a threat to the West because Africa has been fashioned to remain poor. But the countries in the AES, in the Sahel, these countries are advancing, and poverty is not part of them anymore. That is a threat to the West, because other countries will begin learning from them. They will say, "Oh, so if we want to grow, if we want to be better, if we want to live better, we are supposed to exit we are supposed to distance ourselves from the West. We are supposed to cut ties with the West. Now, this is what we're going to do." And therefore, the West does not want that, because that one really puts them in danger. They feel like every country will begin doing that one by one, because countries have already shown moves. Yeah, that is why someday I was making a video and I told you, Ibrahim Traore is an influencer, because look at countries like Namibia, look at countries like Botswana. People are talking about Capt.Ibrahim Traore. People are using him as an example, which means a time will come when these Western countries, West Africa countries, when a time will come when its people will feel like, why are these three countries prospering? It's because they had to cut ties with the West. Now, the same thing we shall do for us to be able to also develop our countries, and that is what they will do for sure. Okay, so that one is a threat to the West, and West does not want that. Okay, number two, they stopped Western countries from exploiting. They told them, we cannot give you anything for free. You cannot take from this country anything for free. Yesterday we saw Assimi Goita opening a local refinery. He said that every gold mining will be refined from Mali, and nobody is going to take those minerals out. They will not be taken out. They will not go out. He will not allow anybody to take them out free of charge. In case you want them, conditions are there to be followed, or you come with money, buy them. Nothing is for free. We know how we are going to use it. We know how we are going to export them, and nobody's going to tell us what to do. And he said all the companies that have been mining, that are refining, should be local companies. And that one is also a threat. Why? Because number one, youths are going to get jobs. When youths are going to get jobs, youths will not go to the US and to Europe in search of jobs, and therefore the country's economy will begin going up. When the country's economy begins going up, this means these countries are going to prosper. They're going to be rich. Yeah, they are going to be wealthy, and that is one thing that the West does not really want. Ibrahim Traore came and said that all blacks should now come back to Burkina Faso. They should come back to West Africa, because they have made ways for black people to come back to West Africa and all that. And we have seen black people coming back to West Africa. We have seen black people coming back to Africa. Even in Kenya, black people began coming. And when Ibrahim Traore was speaking these words, he said that for you to be able to come back to Africa, you're coming free of charge. As long as you're a black person, you'll be given visas for free and all that. We look at you, you are an African. You are there, you know, you did not choose to go there. You came back to Africa, you found yourself there, and it was not your choice. But as long as you are a black person, you are coming from Africa, and Africa is home. So when you come back to Africa, we only need to see your black color, and we give you visa. Yeah, we give you citizenship. That is what has been happening. Even in Ghana, people who have been traveling to Ghana, they were given citizenship very easily. And now many black Americans and African Americans are in Ghana and in the entire Africa, South Africa, and many other countries in Africa, simply because Ibrahim Traore started something that many black people saw, so Africa is changing. Okay, that is also a threat to the West, because Western countries have been built by black people for many years. Yeah, black people have been there for many years, for many years, and they've been building these countries in terms of economy, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of development, everything. They've been building these countries. Yeah, their energy has been used. Their good brains and broad brains, their high level of thinking capacity have been used to build these Western countries. And when they finally get out of West, all of them, that means West will be weak, USA will be weak, Germany will be weak, these countries, all of them, France will be weak, England will be weak, because they are depending on black people to do a lot of things. When they were taking black people from Africa during colonization through slavery, they were taking them there to go and work for them. Yeah, which means black people are stronger and energetic compared to white people who are there. And therefore, if they get out of those countries, that means they will have lost a lot of things. They will have lost bigger things. Okay? So the existence of AES and the absentia of AES from AU and ECOWAS is a threat to the West. And therefore, because we've said, me and you, we've been talking here and we've said, AU has been manipulated. It has been infiltrated. ECOWAS has been manipulated. It has been infiltrated. ECOWAS is no longer working for black people, for Africans. AU is no longer working for black people, for Africans. It is serving the West. Okay? So the same people, the masters of the way of the AU and ECOWAS, which is the West and imperialists, they have sent AU to Burkina Faso. They have sent ECOWAS to Burkina Faso to go and try to convince those three countries if they will come back to ECOWAS and if they will come back to AU, so that they can continue stealing and exploiting. We know it. Don't you know it? I know it. Even you know it. And that is why we saw just after AU came in, after AU sent their delegates, ECOWAS again came in. Why? Why this rush? Why now? Why hurrying? Why making it like there is something very serious? There is nothing serious. It is just that the West have tried, the imperialists have really tried to take back AU, to take back the AES, to take back these three countries. They've tried to convince these leaders, but it has been difficult for them. Therefore, the only way is to go and take them back to Burkina Faso, to AU and to ECOWAS, so that they can continue manipulating them from there. They want to continue stealing, they want to continue taking, because immediately after they will join, you will see them making decisions. Yeah, they will begin saying, we want to do this, so we want you to be able to do this. We want to do this, we want you to be able to do this. And do you know what will happen? What will happen is that they will have to follow, because they are part of them. And when you are part of an organization, it means you are supposed to follow them, you are supposed to listen to them, and you're supposed to follow the directions they are giving you. And that is what Ibrahim Traore does not want. That is what Abdurrahman Chiani Simigoita does not want. They want Africa to be independent. They want them to do things their own way in their countries. And that is what these people does not really want. What do you think? Tell me what you think on the comment section, because this is a very serious issue. And I think African Union should stop working for the West. ECOWAS should stop working for the West and begin working for their people. Ibrahim Traore said, I'm not going to follow anything that I'm going to be told by the West. I'll work things out the way I think I need to work things out. AU has failed this continent. ECOWAS has failed West Africa. Both of them are failures, and they need to make a change. They need to do a change. If they don't do it, it's going to be very difficult, and it's going to be a problem to them. Yeah? Otherwise, Ibrahim Traore should not try joining those people, because those people have failed. Those people are not bringing any impact. I think they should just even stop. We should just stop having AU as an organization and ECOWAS as an organization, because they failed big time. The leaders who are in ECOWAS, look at their countries, very corrupt, very bad, no development, high taxes, people are crying, protests every day. The countries in AU, the same thing, problems left, right, center, killing protesters. People cannot complain. When they complain, they are taken down. Money is being stolen from the government, from the public funds are being stolen from the government. People are being taxed high. Loans from the IMF and World Bank, bigger loans, no development, no infrastructure, no roads, no schools, no hospitals, no nothing. But when you go to Burkina Faso, the Sahel region, the AES alliance, good schools, good hospitals, good roads, infrastructure, like no loans. They are not owing any country from any loan from World Bank and IMF. It is only 3 years. They took power when the countries were owing World Bank and IMF a lot of money. Right now, they are not owing IMF anything. That is why it is even difficult for the Western countries to manipulate these countries, because they don't owe them anything. They don't have anything that belongs to them. They don't have anything that is for them. Yeah. So they are like, even the West is asking themselves, even if we want to attack these people, how are we going to attack them? We cannot tell them to give us their resources, because they have what belongs to us. They don't have anything that belongs to us. They've paid everything. They've given out everything. So it's difficult. Yeah. And that is the main reason as to why they want to use AES and ECOWAS to bring back these three countries, because they are losing a lot of money. They are losing what they've been taking from Africa for many years. And therefore, it is now draining them. And they feel like the only thing we can do is to bring this country to us, to bring this country close to us, and to continue doing what we have been doing to them. Yeah. So the countries which are claiming to be in AU and democratic countries have failed. They are poor And there are people are crying every day. There are people complaining every day. The country in ECOWAS, corruption is there, greediness is there, theft is there. Like lazy people in the government dockets, they are there. Very lazy people, not doing anything. They're not even competent. Many of them are just like people who don't even care. Yeah, irresponsible kind of people, and the countries see them just as good people. So you want Ibrahim Traore to come back to AU, unless if you're giving Ibrahim Traore the AU chairmanship, make him the head and the president of AU, he will change this continent within days. That is what the only way we think we can support him and tell him, go there, man, because this is a man who cannot be manipulated. So that's the reason as to why AU went to Burkina Faso. That's the reason as to why ECOWAS went to Burkina Faso. And we are hoping that Burkina Faso is going to continue being safe, because we don't want to see them going there and then we begin receiving calls, oh, this has happened, this has happened. We don't want anything like that. May God protect Ibrahim Traore wherever he is and in everything he is doing. We shall win, and we shall bring back our continent to where it's supposed to be. May God help us, together with our great leader, Capt.Ibrahim Traore. Tell me what you think on the comment section. I'll do my best to make sure I read the comments and give a response where possible. I am the African Streamline. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really love you wherever you are and in everything that you are doing. If it's your first time to be here, don't forget to subscribe. For the returning subscribers, may I give you salute. God bless you.